This is the story of Zeus, Greek mythology's supreme commander. To us, it's a myth, but to the ancients, it was reality, a way to make sense of a terrifying world. Some Greeks believed Zeus was the one true god, centuries before Christ, and that nature's worst catastrophes were a sign of his wrath. This is the myth of Zeus, as it was originally told, and the surprising truth behind it. If you control the sky, you control the world. In Greek mythology, that power belongs to one god, Zeus. He reigns as the enforcer of justice, the master of men and gods.
Zeus was the king of the gods, but he was also responsible for dispensing justice, both to the gods and to mortals on the earth.
This is something really cool about Greek mythology, because one of the things that you were supposed to do as a Greek when you worshiped the gods was simply to do what was required to keep the gods from squashing you.
As commander of the skies, Zeus has the power of nature at his disposal. That gives him the most devastating weapon of all.
The most powerful symbol of Zeus is the lightning bolt. This is what Zeus carries. It's his main accoutrement, and it's the thing that makes him the most powerful of all the divinities.
Attributing lightning to Zeus was a way for the Greeks to explain the unexplainable. In a time before science, mythology put faces on the forces that shaped the world.
The Greeks used mythology to try and figure out why the world operates the way that it does. They didn't have scientific explanations yet for how the world came into existence, or why lightning strikes here but not there, or why it strikes then and not some other time.
The natural world was very frightening to them, so they associated it with the divine. These were symptoms of the gods' power that they could use to punish people who hadn't worshipped them properly.
Zeus's command over nature would make him Greece's most feared god. But how did he get there? What we know of Zeus begins with the writings of the ancient Greek author Hesiod, around 700 BC. His book, called Theogony, was the ancient Greek story of creation. What the book of Genesis is to our own world.
Theogony is Hesiod's attempt to make sense of the world, to bring order to it by telling the story of a dynastic family rivalry that winds up in a well-ordered cosmos that is the world that you and I know today.
In the myth, Zeus doesn't start out as the king of the gods. He rises from obscurity to challenge his father for control of the universe. And that won't be easy. His father is Kronos. He is king of the Titans, the most powerful gods in the universe.
The Titans are an older order of Greek god. They're pretty rough around the edges. They're not too bright. They're also not very well civilized.
As leader of the Titans, Kronos is expected to produce offspring. So he mates with his own flesh and blood, his sister and fellow Titan, Rhea.
Incest shows up quite a bit in mythology. Among the gods, there's really nobody else at the beginning for them to have sex with, so they end up marrying one another.
There's an old-time aristocratic idea that says that no one else is good enough for our family except only our family. And the Greek gods definitely seem to ascribe to this kind of a principle.
These two Titan siblings, Kronos and Rhea, produce the next generation of Greek gods. Mythology's household names: the Olympians, Among them are Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus. But they will not simply inherit the earth. They must fight for it.
Kronos was very worried about having children because he was concerned that his son would be greater than him and would supplant him.
The father fears being replaced by the son. That's human psychology. I mean, go to Freud, and actually Freud found it in classical mythology. So this fear of losing your power to the next generation was real. If you had a kid and you had something worth taking, at some point you needed to keep an eye on the kid.
So his solution to this problem was to swallow alive all of his offspring. As soon as his wife gave birth, he would actually ingest them.
Now, of course, since they're immortal, the children that Kronos swallows are not dead. They are just locked away inside of his belly. He's trying to control them and keep them from developing a power base so they might be able to overthrow him.
To the Greeks who told the myth, this was an appalling act. Cannibalism was as deplorable then as now.
We see the Greek authors giving voice to their fears through mythology. Cannibalism, sacrifice were horrible taboos. But when you project these things onto the gods, it gives you a safe place to explore the consequences of what might happen.
Rhea is horrified. All 5 of her children have been swallowed alive. Now, she is pregnant again. But this time, she has a plan. She sneaks away and gives birth in secret to a son, the future king of the gods, Zeus. But Cronus is expecting another child to swallow. So Rhea wraps a rock in a baby blanket and presents it to him. Without thinking twice, he grabs the bundle and gulps it down.
So the plan of Rhea is put into place. Kronos has swallowed down the stone instead of Zeus. Zeus then, as an infant, is spirited away, and he's put in what the ancient myth tellers tell us is the folds of the earth.
Zeus has been saved by his mother's cleverness. It's a memorable story. But could that secret cave at the heart of the myth really exist? It seems the ancients thought so. They believed Zeus had been born on the island of Crete. In this mountain cave.
The cave on the island of Crete is perhaps the most important sanctuary for the veneration of Zeus. It was considered as one of the possible places where the baby Zeus was kept hidden from its own father.
Excavations at the cave have revealed that it was a major pilgrimage site for visitors from across the ancient world.
It was a place that people would go to worship Zeus. How do we know? We've excavated thousands of dedications to Zeus and ritual objects to Zeus from all over the Mediterranean.
One find in particular ties directly into the myth of Zeus.
Amongst the material remains were these cool shields that probably were along the walls and were put up there to indicate the clanging of shields that the people defending Zeus used to muffle his crying when he was a baby, so that Kronos could not hear.
A chosen son, hidden to save his life. For Christians and Jews, the story of Zeus's birth is very familiar.
Many religious and mythological traditions have stories of sacred or divine children who are hidden away in order to protect them so that they can grow to adulthood and fulfill their destinies. We think perhaps of Jesus, who is hidden away in the manger so that Herod will not be able to get to him, or of Moses, who is hidden away in Egypt.